In this episode of the Bill Cakey podcast, I am going to give you 10 things that if you would implement these, I believe, and I've seen it happen, where you can 2x your revenue, 2x your income, whatever the result that you want to get is. I've got 10 things here, and I want to share them with you. And there's also a link in the show notes to get a guide where we talk about these 10 things in a little bit more detail. Let's go. Hey everybody, Bill Cakey back at the Bill Cakey podcast. If this is your maiden voyage on this journey that you're on, we do this podcast every week. I have been training and coaching sales teams for the last 30 some years, and mainly in the business to business space. And we do this podcast every week because I want to share with you things that are working for my clients. We work primarily with business sales teams, individuals as well. But I want to share with you something today that we have been teaching our high achiever clients. I have a couple of groups of strictly high achiever salespeople, people who earn over 150 to 500,000 a year. And these people who are at the top of their game still are in learning mode. And so these 10 things are things that come from that program. You know, I'm in the business I'm in because I want to help people grow their income and grow their impact. I think income follows impact. And if your impact is low and weak and small, then it becomes hard for you to grow that income because not enough people know about you. They don't understand your position. They don't understand the value you can bring. And so all of these 10 things here are about 2xing your income, but it's really about having more impact in your market area. All right, so let's get into these. Number one, get your story down. Most people do not have their story down pat. And when I say story, I could mean your personal story, why you do what you do. It's extremely important today because there's a lot of competition, and if your story resonates better than the next person's story, your competitor's story, then you're going to get a second look, and you're going to get access to people, and you're going to have a deeper level of bonding and rapport. Second type of story is your corporate story. Why do you exist as a company? If you're a CEO, VP of sales listening to this, and you don't have a story, I was on a call the other day with a gentleman who is a brand new client, and we were doing the input form, the onboarding work. And I said, what would you say your people say is their story? And he struggled with it a little bit. And I said, well, what would you say? And he struggled with it a little bit more. And so I know that it sounds easy, but it's not. So get your story down. That's number one. Number two, a 1-year plan. You got to have a 1-year plan. A 1-year plan should include target account, target revenue, target income, target accounts. How are you going to get there? It's part project plan and part forecast. A 1-year plan is not, I want to generate $1 million of revenue so that I can earn $200,000 in income. That's not a plan. That's just a forecast. That's a guess. We call it swag, a sophisticated, wild guess. That's not a plan. So I want to know how are you going to use your assets? How are you going to use social media? How are you going to create a lead generation device so that more and more people are hearing about you? But a 1-year plan is essential. Number three, the list of problems that you solve. Your customer, your prospect, has problems in your area of expertise. They have issues, they have dilemmas, they have circumstances, they have pains, and they also have goals and destinations and aspirations and ambitions. I want you to list those things out. You should have a Google document that has both of those. Maybe it's 2 columns. One column is for the problems they have that you can fix, and one column is for the destination that they want to get to. So when you can articulate the kinds of problems and goals that companies have, when you show up, you will easily 2x your business because people will say, that's what I'm looking for. Versus you listing an inventory of features and benefits and deliverable services. That's not what's going to get you to 2x. What's going to get you to 2x is if they are crystal clear about how you can help them because you are crystal clear about how you can help them. Number 4, a visual sales process. I want you to build a visual representation, a replica, an artifact of your sales process. What is step 1? Step 1 might be a discovery part where you go and you find out what their issues are, what they're trying to accomplish, what their pains are, goals, aspirations. Step 2 might be an analysis where you take that information back and analyze it and come back to them with a recommendation, which is step 3. Step 4, maybe it's a proposal. I don't know. You've got to have your sales process visually documented, though. Why? Because I want you to share that with your prospect. When you're on a first call or a meet and greet meeting or whatever you want to call it, I want you to pull out that document and say, look, I don't know if we're going to do business or not, but if we are, here's what it looks like. Generally, here's the process that I follow. It's helpful for them because they're going to trust you because you're opening up, you're saying, look, there's the journey. Here's the journey we have in front of us. Nobody does this. Nobody does this. I shouldn't say nobody. Very few people do this. So if you do it, I can almost guarantee you're going to have people follow your process. And what better way to 2x your business than to have more people following your process from day one? The number 5 way you can 2x your business is have more and better, smarter communications about economics. I say have an economic philosophy in writing. What that means is, let's say you charge $200,000 for your solution. Doesn't matter what it is, I'm just picking a number. And let's say that you typically find that if they invest that $200,000, they will reap financial rewards of $1 million. They're either through new business, cost savings, maybe it's over several years. It doesn't have to be in the first 30 days. But I want you to write down your philosophy about we believe that when a customer invests in this solution, that it will return X, Y, or Z. This is not a promise. This is not a contract. You could even say, generally, this is what we find. That so when someone invests $1 in us, they will get back 2.5 to 3x those dollars over the first 30 days or 90 days or 2 years. And then you have to go into some detail about it. You can't just make a promise and not have the backup paperwork. But you need to have an economic philosophy. Most companies don't. This is so easy, so easy. But if you don't do it, then guess what happens? You get stuck in this cost conversations, price. Well, your system is this and their system is that. And somebody else came in and they're 20% less. And before you know it, the customer's confused. Relieve that confusion by helping them understand your economic philosophy. Step number 6 on your way to 2xing your revenue, income, or results is you've got to have a lead generation device. You've got to have something out there working for you digitally when you are working with prospects. So you're out there spending, let's just say you spend 4 hours with a prospect over the course of a week, understanding their issues. They understand what you can do to help them. All that time is time you're not spending reaching out to other people. So you've got to have a lead generation device. Maybe it's a booklet. Maybe it's a free PDF. You can check ours out. I do one called 5 Reasons You Don't Have Enough Clients. And you can find it at 5reasonsclients.com. It's a free, it's probably 12, 14 pages where it walks through why you don't have enough clients. Some of these things are on here, but there's more. But that's an example of a lead gen device. Somebody downloads that, they give me their email address, they start to get follow-up messages from me. I may even text them at some point. We've generated a lot of revenue in our coaching practice just from that one lead device. But if you don't have a lead device, then guess what? It's always up to you. I want you to 2x your business. One way you do that is by leveraging your time. And one way you do that is by having a lead gen device. Number 7 way to 2x your business is to have a list of frequently asked questions. I say 10. It can be more than that, but 10 frequently asked questions that you get typically from prospects when they engage you or when they seek to engage you. What are some questions that you might ask? Or they might ask. They might ask a question like, how can I justify the money? What makes you different than everybody else? Why should I do this now? What are some trends in the marketplace that make this offer more inviting? Whatever those questions are that you typically get or you want to get, I want you to write them down because guess what? Every one of those questions becomes a lead generation device or social media post. So if you have a question like, why should I invest $5,000 in X, you could do a post on LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever your favorite platform is, doing that specific question. Or you could send an email out to your prospect list and say, hey, I typically get a lot of questions. Here's one I got recently. Thought you might be interested in my answer. Frequently asked questions are just a treasure trove of content for you. Plus, you're looking to 2x your business, you need to 2x your close percentage or conversion percentage. This is a great way to do it because now they know you know what they're thinking. 2x idea number 8, step number 8, is commit to weekly publication. create to something that you're going to create weekly on LinkedIn, on one of the platforms or all of the platforms, something you can repurpose. It may be a written thing, it may be a video thing, it may be an audio thing, it may be graphics of some kind, it may be a story, it may be an email, although I'm talking specifically here on the social platform. Just do once a week. Most people don't do once a week. Most people don't do much at all. But if you can get your cadence down to once a week, then going to once a day, which I would ultimately suggest, is going to be much easier than going from once every 9 months to once a day. You just won't do it. And I know that. So commit to a weekly publication of content. It's not that difficult to do. Once you start doing it, content will flow. I've already given you 10 pieces of content with those frequently asked questions. Step number 9 to 2Xing your business. This is going to be a little bit off the grid here, but you need a practice of mindfulness or stillness or meditation, whatever you want to call it. We live in a very turbulent world. We live in a world where we're getting a lot of external messages. It's burdensome sometimes. We have these goals. We have people who rely on us to accomplish the goals. Sometimes it can be rattling. It can be unnerving with all of the inputs that we have. And what happens is when our attention starts to slip, our relationships start to slip. And I don't want that to happen, because if you're going to 2X your business, every relationship is important. It doesn't mean that everybody you talk to is a prospect, of course, but every relationship, you don't want to upset people. You don't want to not call people back because you're so busy and burdened, you just haven't had time. And I think a mindfulness or stillness practice is really critical to help you make sense of all that incoming and create a plan that's clear and concise and based on where you want to go. And stillness or meditation really helps you do that. Even if it's sitting in a room for 30 minutes at the beginning of the day or the end of the day and just writing out some of your thoughts. Just, raw dog it, no podcasts on in the background, no music. It's just you and your pad of paper. And that will suffice as some kind of a stillness practice. It really helps keep your head clear. And step number 10 to 2Xing your business, you need a group of like-minded people to surround yourself with so that you can bounce ideas off of, you can contribute to their ideas. If you can find 4 to 7 or 8 people, we do groups. I'm not suggesting you get into one of our groups, but that's where I find that groups can be so powerful. If you can get 5 to 7 people who are all interested in growing, they can support and help each other. They're unconditionally supportive. There's no conditions because one person's results don't impact somebody else's income. So it's not like you're a sales leader. Sales leaders are great, but they're not people you want in your support group because they're invested in you succeeding. People in a support group are not invested financially. They're only invested emotionally. So if you don't have a support group, I suggest you get one. If you want more information on what we do, there's some information below. But I hope these 10 steps will help you 2X your results. And it could be your income or your sales results or the number of customers. If you can get these 10 and start to work on these 10. Now, are there more? Of course, I've got probably 20, 25 of them here. And we're going to be publishing a document. You can even check in the show notes to see if that's available yet. If not, we will make sure that we promote it on one of our upcoming episodes. But we've got a checklist that has some of these and some other things in it. I think we're going to be calling it the 2X checklist accordingly. So I hope that's been helpful. If you are interested in scheduling a call with me to talk about your team or yourself, you can go to scheduleacallwithcasky.com. If not, I hope you enjoyed this. See ya.